So we'll just start with acknowledgement to country. So I would just like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the lands that we are all meeting on today. We're coming from a range of places, and pay respect to elders past, present and emerging. Okay, so what I will do is I am going to try and share the first of the toolkits, if I can. You have to bear with me. I'm not as good at this as Kayla is. Can everyone see something that's titled, what is 715? Yes, okay. So this is the first page of this toolkit. It's not a very big one at all. So it's about 2 pages long and there are 2 flowcharts that go with it. The education that's going to fit around this is we have Katrina Otto doing recalls and reminders, will be coming up very soon. We have the GoShare Plus bundles that you will have access to. And GoShare should have been slowly reaching out to everybody to make sure that you're set up properly and ready to go. Excuse me, we did finally manage to get a female community leader to do a recording for us for GoShare. So previously we'd had 2 of the Cowboy footballers and a past Wallabies player do recordings for us. But I really struggled to get a female, but we now have an ex-Queensland netballer who is also involved with the Beyond Broncos, they're called. So it's the female rugby league side. I'm sorry. So we'll just start with what's in this first toolkit. So we just go through a bit of what is a 715. The components that make an effective health check. So what's going to be helpful to the actual patient? What do we need to consider? So one of our big things is that it's got to be patient-centered and we need to have goals and priorities for our patients in there. So basically a 715, as you probably all know, is a health assessment that is used to identify any potential or existing chronic conditions, so that we can put in care plans, we can put in management plans to either try to prevent this condition from actually getting hold and taking off. So for example, emphysema, or we put in measures to try and improve quality of life for the patient if they already have the chronic disease. We've got a list here of things that must be included in your 715. I'm not going to read it all out because you're all quite capable of reading. We do have some links in here that you can go to. Alana, can you just give me the thumbs up if you can see this, or if I have to swap screens? Yep, okay. So instead of reinventing the wheel, we've put in links that will just give you extra information if you're looking for it. And if you click on this one here, which is Medicare Health Assessment, it'll just take you to the most recent document around your 715s and the components that it should include. We'll just go back. Okay, back on the normal screen. Yep. Okay. Then we're looking at specific health measures that can be accessed by the GP. So we're looking at follow-up. What things can we bill after the 715? And looking at things like CTG co-payments. We will actually be going, the next toolkit, which is toolkit number 4, will actually cover the co-payment for pharmaceuticals. ITC, which we will also bring more information about when we move on to the chronic disease part. So this is just highlighting that these things are available, but we will give you more information around those at a later stage. Then we go into identifying eligible patients for a 715 health assessment. So the previous toolkit was about making sure that you had captured as many of your patients and recorded whether they identify as Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander patients or not, and be able to then run a report, which is here, your CAT4 recipe. So if I click on that, This is produced by Penn, so you know that it works. It's not one that I made up. And this you can scroll through this step-by-step instructions, and then at the end of it, you can export it through either to a working book or to an Excel spreadsheet that you can work from to do your recalls reminders. And that's when GoShare steps in. So you can use, you don't have to use GoShare, but it is available for you if you do want it. We're also providing you not only with the license, but also SMS credits. So as you can see here, there are 3 different age ranges that we look at. As you know, we have Inca on board, and we have developed with Inca a 715 health assessment template. And we've added in a couple of things to make sure that one of them in particular is for like our, I guess, 15 years and over, is our STI checks is very important in this population and in this age range. One of the big problems that practices have mentioned to us quite often is they will get a patient in, they will do a 715, so they're spending 40 to 60 minutes with the patient, and then they go to bill it and they realise that somebody else has actually already billed it within the last 9 months, 12 months. So what we suggest, and completely up to you of course, is once you've pulled your list of patients, you can then check by using Proda and following these instructions as to whether that patient has actually already had a 715 billed in the last 9 to 12 months. And then you can just delete them from this particular recall for this year. I have other resources in here, which is a Medicare guide for, what's that say? People are waiting. Alana, can you let those people in that are waiting, please, darling? This is a link to a really great resource. Oh, sorry, I've been using it. That's why it's not starting at the beginning. So this is produced by Medicare and Services Australia. It has an amazing, a lot of information in here. So I've saved this for me so I can just keep going backwards and forwards to it. So that's in there as just a helpful resource. So what we're needing to look at now, so you've done your data cleanse, you've spoken to your whole practice about what you're going to do. Now we need to start forming teams. So people need to have roles within your team to know what they are responsible for. So these are the sorts of roles that you might want to consider when you're setting up your teams going forward. So, you know, who's doing the recalls and reminders, who's booking the appointments, who's going to be responsible for making sure that you have patient education available to cover a multitude of chronic conditions that may be discovered, and who's completing and documenting the 715 health check, and are you using Inca or are you going to use another template? We go through which other clinical staff can actually help with the GP to perform the 715. A lot of the time, these clinicians will gather the majority and do a lot of the legwork prior to the GP seeing the completed 715 and seeing the patient and signing off on it. But the GP has to be happy the practitioner is at a competent level to perform these tasks. So we've just got a quick, very little flowchart. So eligible practitioner, do they need help? Some GPs like to do that all by themselves, and that's awesome. So no, they don't, so that's fine. Patient just goes in and sees them. If they do, these practitioners help collect all of the information, and then, as you know, it goes back to the GP for sign-off. So that is our first page. Alana, can you see that flowchart? Okay, and then we just have 2 different flowcharts. So one about 715 and one for a 721, 723. And that, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. If I can bring Alana back, here she is. Okay, so that is what is making up this third toolkit. As I said, there's It's not a huge toolkit, but we have got Katrina Otto doing information, another upskilling around recalls, reminders. We have GoShare rolling out, and we have Dr. Jason King doing our next education, which is in early December. And he's doing, it's just him speaking at this one. So he's doing a huge information sharing on how to do a 715 better, and making it pertinent to that individual, and how they do it in his clinic in gathering information at different times. So it doesn't all have to be done at that one particular appointment. So you don't have to spend an hour. If you've gathered things as you're going along, you can pull those into your final 715 assessment template. Okay. So as per usual, if there are any questions, please let us know. We have Alana and Alex Dare in Townsville. We have Claire, who is up in Cairns, and you have Kayla and myself here in Mackay. We will push this toolkit out to you so that you can have it prior to the next Katrina Otto webinar, which is on recalls and reminders, as I said before. So do we have any questions? Everyone happy? No? All good? Yeah, okay. So thank you all very much for dialing in. I appreciate you giving us our time, and we're really grateful that you are joining us in this CQI. So that'll be it for me until I roll out the next toolkit, unless you need me, of course, and then you can just give us a ring or send me an email.